right, guys. So NBA Twitter is absolutely cooking Paul George. You have the infamous NBA Centel saying the Philadelphia 76ers have decided that Paul George will remain away from the team until he's better at basketball. Right? This was his who did he play against? Because he had 2 points. And yeah, it was a pretty bad, I think one of Paul George's worst games of his career, actually. Yeah, so it was against the Nets on Wednesday. So Paul George in 37 minutes posted up 2 points, 4 assists, and 6 rebounds, right? And yeah, NBA Twitter was cooking him. Barstool Sports says Paul George went crazy. Oh my gosh. Paul George's nickname is PG-13 because you need parental guidance to see this much ass on television. Damn. Hater Report says Paul George in 2025, comparing him to Kevin Garnett when he was with the Nets. An NBA meme says Daryl Morey saw Paul George do this and decided to give him $50 million a year. Let's check it out. Yikes. Yeah, man. So I think Paul George spoke with reporters, right? And he said, this is what he had to say. So Paul George is dealing with a extensor tendon injury in his left pinky finger. And I don't know, man. Maybe this Philly organization, the 76ers, they just have a curse. It seems like every player that plays for them, they're always injured. Joel Embiid, Paul George. I just don't understand, right? Stars in particular, but this is him on his injury. He says it's tough. The pain pretty much went down, but little things like ball handling, catching it, going left at moments. Like there's a couple plays tonight where it bobbled a bit because I got to essentially play like this all game. Yeah, and he shows his inability to move his left pinky. So it's frustrating, but it is what it is. Right? So Paul George is apparently dealing with nagging injuries, and he's been dealing with injuries all season long, right? He also had an hyperextended knee that was gruesome.
Fans would have wanted to see in its preseason game versus the Atlanta Hawks, Paul George going down with a hyperextended knee. He went into the locker room and did not return for the second half, obviously, but he expect to feel better 2 to 4 weeks after the injury. Ligaments that are damaged, you could expect to feel better 2 to 4 weeks after the injury.
Yeah, so it's been a rough season for Paul George, man. This guy he's just running into bad luck all over the place. But apparently Paul George he's been receiving injections just to play in games. Check this out.
Malika, the season started for Paul George with a hyperextension and a bone bruise, a really nasty looking injury at the time. And it's really been an uphill battle for him since that point. He's had multiple different little nagging injuries that have come up. Most recently, he's had tendon damage in his left pinky that he's been fighting. Ouch. He's been doing everything that he can to be on the court, though, and to try to be available. I'm told it's to the point where he has gotten injections to play and compete over the last 4 or 5 games. Now, that's something that players do come playoff time, not necessarily in the regular season. So clearly, we know that Paul George over the last several years, last season he was healthy, played the majority of the season. We can tell he's not 100%. So credit to him for trying to tough it out in what's been a trying season for the 76ers. But clearly there's something that's been amiss with him, with his body, and we're seeing that play out. The Sixers, there's going to be a point in time here, Malika, where second half of the season, definitely in the offseason, they're going to have some hard conversations about.
I mean, I feel like Paul George may get shipped out. If they're going to trade anybody, they're going to trade Paul George. But in my opinion, Philly should just shut it all down. Because All-Star break is in 2 days. You have the second half of the season coming up. Joel Embiid is clearly not healthy. Paul George is clearly not healthy. The only healthy people are Maxey and the others. But to further, this is crazy because even Joel Embiid was saying that he thinks he needs surgery on his knee. Okay, so there was a report that came out saying that Joel Embiid acknowledged that he may need another knee surgery. So let's get into this here. It says Philadelphia 76ers center Joel Embiid acknowledged Sunday that he might have to undergo another surgery on the left knee that has bothered him over the past year if it isn't feeling any better by the end of the season. And this, when your star player is saying this, just shut him down. At that point, it's over. Like, it's done. And it's so done that he's doing stuff like this. Like, Joel Embiid is not himself. Look, check this out, guys. Joel Embiid for the win. You know what's not happening.
You don't call a timeout because the defense can use that to set up.
Embiid passes on the three, has it knocked away.
Like this is not who Embiid is, man. This is not who he is. But apparently he had to clarify those comments because, you know, I guess people were a lot of people were wondering why would he say something like this, or is it really that bad? So it says Joel Embiid clarifies knee surgery comments. If it gets worse, then you got to do something. During the Philadelphia 76ers 135-127 loss against the Bucks on Sunday, ESPN Lisa Walters reported that Sixers star Joel Embiid believes he needs another surgery on his left knee. Quote, I asked Joel Embiid how that left knee feels, and he gave a really long pause and just said, it is what it is. Damn. Okay. Embiid said that the ongoing management of pain and swelling from last February's procedure to address a meniscus injury has been frustrating and the most difficult thing he's ever had to go through in his career. Wow. Embiid wishes he could play in every game, but his body just isn't allowing him to do that right now. That when the knee swells up, there's nothing he can really do about it. Yeah, so it's pretty bad in Philly. We're gonna end it there, but this is supposed to be a Paul George video, but just to show you guys the state of the Sixers at this very moment, they should just shut it all down. Like your star players that are getting the bulk of the money are not healthy, so you might as well just shut it down. And I don't know what the Sixers are going to do in the offseason. Maybe they'll ship Paul George, or maybe they'll try it again. I mean, I saw an interview with Daryl Morey and he sounded pretty confident this year. And I'm like, bro, this shit's over. He's saying that we're still competing for a championship. Listen, Sixers are not competing for a championship this year. I don't even think they'll compete for a championship next year. I don't think they're better than the Celtics. I don't even think they're not even better than the Bucks, in my opinion. But yeah, man, let me know you guys' thoughts on this topic. This has been another episode of Bebo Unlocked TV. And as always, I'm out.